What's up, good people? My name is AJ, and you are watching Straight Talks. The topic of the video here today is going to be a little bit different from what I'm normally doing on the channel and talking about academic profession, and it's going to be more of like a personal self-help topic that I'm fairly passionate about just because I see this happening so much. And it's going to be that you need to stop watching Netflix. Let me be clear here, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with Netflix as a company. And if you just have a favorite show that you like to watch at the end of the week, a couple episodes, and it's something that you really look forward to because it's a fun pastime for you, then that is totally fine. I certainly do that as well myself, but that is not how most people are using this service. A recent Nielsen report showed that the average American spends about 2.8 hours per day watching Netflix. That number on an annual basis means that the average person subscribing to Netflix is watching 1,000 hours per year on their service. And if you divide that by 24, which is the number of hours in a day, you get that the average Netflix user is wasting 42 days worth of their time each year watching Netflix. The study also showed that 15% of Netflix subscribers were using the service for more than 30 to 40 hours per week. They have like 150 or 160 million subscribers as of right now, so there's 20 million people that spend more time watching Netflix than they would at a full-time job. And this is something that I think is going to have some broader implications to our society. Hear me out here. You could say, well, hey, AJ, there's always been things that people have wasted their time on. You know, in the 50s, maybe they were reading the newspaper for that much time a day. And that's partly true too. But the way that Netflix programming works and the way that our human psychology works when watching shows that we kind of like the characters in makes it not necessarily addicting, but just so easy to binge is the phrase you commonly hear, which really just means waste your life away watching these shows that aren't bringing you all that much satisfaction. And I think can lead to some deeper mental health issues, which is at least a small portion of the reason that we have such of a problem with that in our society now. Like I said, certain shows that are your favorite shows or movies might actually be worth spending some time on, and I have a couple shows that I've watched on Netflix that I do actually think bring me enough enjoyment to make it worth the time spent watching them. But when you're literally bored watching Netflix and you sit on the couch the entire day and binge through these things, which has to happen for this 2.8 average hours per day number to come up, you're just giving yourself a really easy way to miss out on so much opportunity that you could take advantage of in this really short time that I think we have on Earth called our lives. Don't spend it with Netflix. Everyone has at least one or two things that they're interested in outside of binging Netflix. And if you don't have anything that you think you're legitimately interested in outside of anything you watch on TV, then you just haven't spent enough time learning about things out there or experiencing things out there in the world or reading about them online, that you haven't given yourself the opportunity to find things that you're interested in, because it's just almost impossible outside of, any mental illnesses that someone might be suffering from. It's almost impossible to not have any interest in anything. I'm just here to say, spend with your time things that are much more interesting to you than, watching The Office for the 16th time or whatever, just because it's really comfortable to sit there and let it go on rerun and waste your time away staring at a screen when you could be getting a lot more enjoyment from doing something else. Maybe you're a middle-aged Midwestern dad, and for you that could be like keeping your yard in nicer order, or trimming your bushes, or planting a garden if gardening could be your thing, or whatever, wrenching on your car, spending more time with your family, if you have kids and you're a parent, spending more time in religious or spiritual practices, spending time in charity and serving others, or anything that can bring a deeper sense of fulfillment or sense of worth and purpose is going to be more beneficial than for 3 hours a day on average. Now, one of my favorite things you could do with this extra time that you'd spend not watching Netflix anymore is with a side hustle and earning some extra money and potentially growing a brand and reaching out to an audience talking about things that you like talking about. But really, you could pursue academic programs to potentially change your life and go into a different career path that you would want to be doing. You can start a small business. I know friends and family who have done that and just make a little bit of money on the side. The money's not the important thing. It's that they are cultivating and growing something else, which just as a human being is mentally fun and enjoyable to do. And it's something you can talk about with other people. Or money may be the main motivating factor for you. You can certainly earn a lot of money with 3 hours a day, 42 days a year, just for the average person. And if you're in the top 50% of people watching this, you might be spending 4 or 5 hours a day. There's a huge amount of money to be earned out there. You can change your life. You can change your standard of living. You can certainly change your retirement plan by earning an extra $100 a week or $100 a month even, and putting that into your Roth IRA, you're going to have like an extra $800,000 over a 40-year savings period invested in the stock market there. So the financial reality of this too is huge, and anything you could be doing to earn an extra buck, flipping things, there's tons of people on YouTube that talk about flip shoes or go to yard sales. Gary Vaynerchuk, his favorite thing, and even though he runs a successful business, is like going to yard sales and buying old Matchbox cars for $5 and selling them on eBay for $50. There's just so much opportunity out there in the world today, especially with the internet and the connectivity that we have with everyone else, that you should not be spending all your time on Netflix. I've had people tell me it's good to take a break and have a relax or a release or whatever at the end of the day, and that can be true if you're not spending more than like an hour doing it. I think if you're 2.5, 3 certainly hours, that's not just a release at the end of the day. That's the majority of your free time, assuming you're working like a 40-hour a week job. The majority of your free personal time you just spent. Netflix is like, are you still watching? And you're like, and I'm not looking to blame anyone here either. I've certainly dealt with this issue myself. I've never spent a ton of time on Netflix, but things like YouTube or playing video games have certainly been a distraction from other things I want to work on in life. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that that would include the CFA and CFP programs. So we all can do a little bit better job at this. I'm just saying, you're going to have much more fulfillment and you're going to be happier and feel more accomplished when you're working on things that you actually get interested in and actually want to be working on or progressing towards, rather than numbing your mind with something that can seem cool to watch or interesting to watch, but really isn't providing you any purpose or meaning. Like, go for a jog or go work out. Set a consistent schedule towards something like that that's going to improve your health. Or I mentioned earlier, religious practices improve your spiritual fulfillment in life and what you might consider to be a future life, or improve your relationships with your friends and family. Everyone will appreciate having someone else in their life that they feel truly valued by and they feel like they love, and interpersonal relationships definitely get neglected by people spending too much time on Netflix. And if it is a side hustle, it's something I enjoy doing. Try to earn yourself some extra money, or just your main hustle. Spend more time doing your regular job if you want to stay at work an extra hour or two to try to progress further in your career. All of these things are just better alternatives than wasting your bandwidth or your brain power on staring at a screen. Human beings, I think, are so interesting in what we can accomplish and the abilities that we have to grow and learn and progress through our lives, that Netflix I just see as something that takes away so much from our ability to do that. And again, it's not them being evil, it's just how people kind of utilize it today is way unnecessary. So again, not trying to bully anyone, and just want to give some perspective. And if this helps you out, if you're someone who spends a good couple hours a day or more on Netflix and you get motivated to spend more time doing other things and you're actually going to schedule that out and stick to it, then let me know. I'd love to hear about some stories. Or if you're someone who says, hey, watching Netflix is fulfilling a deeper meaning for me, we could argue that point out too. I'm happy to talk about it. But either way, leave a comment down below on it. And as always, thanks for watching.